Hello there, and welcome to the Stay Off My Lawn podcast, where we'll have a little fun, lots of laughs, and discussions on the common sense that needs to be applied to a lot of today's world news issues. And now, the disclaimer. Stay Off My Lawn is not intended as legal, medical, or financial advice. Void where prohibited. No purchase necessary to win. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 or older in the contiguous 48 states. Any resemblance to anyone living or deceased is purely coincidental. Actual price may vary. Only use as directed. Not a member of FDIC. And now, here are your hosts, Mike and Richard.
We always do. We never do that before. Anyway, welcome to this week's edition of Stay Off My Lawn. It's November 19th, 2024, and this is episode 92. 92.
Hey, can you speak up when you say that, John?
No, this is the best I have, so no, I'm not doing it. A special welcome.
That lovely, pukey voice that we've all practiced.
That's
Bing
right.
bong, 5 minutes past the big hour of 5 o'clock. Yes, we're here with... Anyway.
If I get shoes that fit, maybe my voice won't do this.
We got stacks of wax for all you crazy cats out there. Anyhow.
A special welcome to those of you on the Oracle Talk Radio Network. We joined a bunch of great other shows on there. We are on, and if you're listening on the Oracle, we are. It is 5 o'clock on Thursday. So welcome to 5 o'clock on Thursday. You are either listening to us on the oracletalkradionetwork.com or the apps for Apple or Android, which is fantastic.
And you got to get those apps because we're adorable on there.
Oh, yes, we are. Our smiling faces. Gosh. Hey, if you're a relatively new listener, of course, next week is Thanksgiving. We started a tradition last year. We want to continue. It's our American Thanksgiving. Of course, last month was your Thanksgiving in Canada. So we're a little behind for you, but we like to invite friends, listeners in this, what we're doing right now, to record yourself telling us your name, maybe where you're from, and if you're comfortable telling us all that. But anyway, something that you're thankful for. I think that it's good for the soul to do that kind of thing. Take a step back, think about the good in your life. If not the great things in your life, you got granddaughters like I am and like I have and Richard has. That's still an exciting thing for me. They're not even 2 yet, and it's just it's a fantastic thing for me. But it's so easy to get bogged down with the negative, the way the news cycle kind of like it can really bum you out. So we want to do that for next week. If you do want to record something and send it to us, you can send it to soml@duck.com, or you can go to our Facebook page, which let me scroll down and find that real quick for you. That is facebook.com/stayoffmylawnpodcast. And you can leave us a message through Messenger there, or you can call us at 770-727-6443 and send us what you're thankful for, and if it's any good or if we get it in time, we'll put it on the podcast next week.
Yeah, we need to have those by the 25th at the latest, because we're going to basically have a pre-recorded show. We've got some other things that we're putting in there, and we want to make it entertaining. And for Thanksgiving, we kind of leave some of the politics alone and just enjoy things. Yeah. So.
We need a break from the politics.
Make it
sometimes.
entertaining.
Yeah.
So.
We'll do the same thing around Christmas. We'll take a break from the politics and play something, different things, music and stuff like that. If we get in trouble, we get in trouble. But I think that, this time of year, it needs to be a little bit more reflective and a little bit more lighthearted. So I think that's not a bad thing at all. So.
Yeah. Well, by Christmas time, we'll have a Christmas story or a Christmas carol. I'm sorry, not Ralphie.
I like the lamp. I want the lamp. Yeah.
Yeah, the lamp. I got the BB gun when I was his age, so I loved it.
And you still have both your eyes. So, I mean, you did something.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it? It's amazing. That's not to say I wasn't. I didn't have ricochets that I'm grateful I have eyes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I've got scars, so I'm with you.
So we may have something at Christmas time called A Christmas Carol, a group that I'm in. We've got some really good voice actors, and we're going to have the sound effects, the whole shooting match. Should be a really fun thing to listen to. So I'm hoping we have that for one of our Christmas shows, because we may do it again between Christmas and New Year's as well.
Well, good. Yeah, I'm not in it this year, so it might be actually pretty good.
Oh, come on. The best Christmas ever from my friend Irma was, I think, still
was fun.
Very fantastic. I had fun doing all the parts in that as well.
Yeah, but every day I'm just busy, so I don't have time anyway. And plus, I didn't get asked. So anyway,
well, and this year it was limited to the people in the group.
I clutched my pearls.
VO Academy.
Anyway,
that's right. That's voacademy.ca if you want to be part of the group. For those of you voiceover actors out there,
that's
unlike somebody who I know that just doesn't have time for us. I'm too busy.
Well, I am busy. I mean, the evenings are just tough for me. So, but I really would if I could, but I can't, so I won't. So,
well, all right.
Oh,
and
we keep it succinct like that. But
first up on the hit parade list this week.
Plus, if for the Thanksgiving thing, if you do want to, if you have your own business or whatever, we encourage you to if you want to promote that real quick, just throw something in there for your website or whatever. Go ahead. I mean, we don't have any problem with that. We've already got some submissions and they've included that. It's fine. So, if it helps you out, that's great too. But we just want to keep this positive and all that for our Thanksgiving here in America. So, let's get right to it. We got a lot of clips here. Supporters of Kamala Harris post-election have begun to, act more cult-like. They're shaving their heads. They're making their profile picture all black. I'm not exactly sure what that's supposed to signify, but they've started wearing
that one either.
Started wearing their blue bracelets and facial masks so they can identify each other. Oh my God.
Well, here's something that all that shaving of the head and stuff has done. It has really PO'd the people that, and you being a cancer survivor, that have the hair that falls out and women that, have to wear the scarf and that. So they look like someone who has just gone through cancer treatment.
Yeah.
And the cancer folks who have had to go through that treatment, and you understand what that's like, they're not real happy about it with what they're doing. It's like, what are you doing that for? Now you look like,
Yeah.
So
I saw a couple of people at the grocery store the other day, and it's like, and it makes you question. Normally it's like, well, I kind of know they either have alopecia or they're going through cancer treatments. I mean, that's normally the two options, but now you just don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah, right. Not with this. Oh, we're going to do that. Yeah. If you've looked at the map, especially the map of counties in the U.S. that voted red, Yeah. You think shaving your head is going to undo an entire United States? 86% of counties voted red.
Yeah.
The only ones that didn't are the educated folks who are in the big city. I've got a college degree. Muffin and I do so well, especially with all children.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could do that better. But that's exactly right. I mean, it's this whole condescending attitude, and
yeah. Well, there was somebody on I think it was a CNN panel, or else it was MSNBC. Either or, they're both bad.
They both smell like sewer.
Yeah. She was disparaging those people who are not college educated like me, and I know everything. No, you don't.
No, you certainly do not. But you think about this whole cult-like behavior. It's really, I guess, nothing new with them. It makes you look bitter, first of all. So just stop doing it. But Richard and I have a good friend, Charlie. He sent me this video from a woman known on Instagram as Blue-Haired American. I was a little leery of what this is going to contain, but she goes on. She goes on a little bit, describing her experience in the cultural Marxist movement. It's very, very interesting. You got to hear this.
This is my plea. From the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of my soul, this is my plea to my liberal friends, to my liberal family, to the artists, to the musicians, to the creatives, to the bleeding hearts of the world. I get you. I see you. I was you. Please understand. I know that you think you're doing what's right to save the world, but your hearts and your minds have been hijacked. They've been hijacked and they're being weaponized against yourselves, against us, against humanity, against the world. I was a staunch liberal for a long time. Vegan, Prius driving, married a woman, blue hair, chakras tattooed up my back. And then I realized that my humanity was hijacked, that they took my bleeding heart and they tried to harm this planet with my own emotions. I'm begging you to please think about this. We were the left, the liberals. We were the side of the conspiracy theories forever. Big pharma, big ag, food, everything. Like none of us trusted any institution. And somehow in less than 8 years, they got you guys believing that the Hillary Clintons and the Obamas and the Pelosi's of the world are suddenly the pillar of truth and justice. Please hear me when I say we have all been a victim of the mind control industrial complex. All of us. It's called the Matrix, right? Some of us are just waking up to it. Some of us have been awake for a long time. Generations have been trying to tell us for a long time. What I'm begging for you to do is don't listen to the media. Don't listen to social media. Don't listen to Trump. Don't listen to Harris. Don't listen to any of them. Listen to your loved ones. Listen to your friends. Listen to your families. You know we're not racist. You know we're not bigots. You know we're not Nazis. You know that we would never harm a hair on another human being's head. And we staunchly support this man because we've just woken up to what's going on. My plea to my liberal friends and family is please don't believe them. Don't believe either one. Believe me. Believe me. At least ask me why. At least say, Kaylin, how could you have gone from all that to who you are now? If you love us, your friends, your family, your loved ones, if you loved us, sit down and have a conversation with us. Let us explain to you why we turned, why we changed, why we support him. I am not right and I am not left. I'm not conservative and I am not liberal. I'm not a Republican and I'm not Democrat. I am MAGA and I am mega. Make America great again. Make the earth great again. Join us, please. We need you and we can't do it without you.
It's just amazing that she understands that this is a partially brainwashing type thing. And it's like, if you don't go along with the program, then you're just out. It would bringing up the Pelosi's and the Obamas, and yeah, she makes good points.
Or they just belittle you to no end if you're not in lockstep with the rest of them und left und right und ein, zwei, drei, vier. Anyway, that stuff. Yeah, good for her because that's what's happening. People are waking up going, whoa. The stuff you're saying that's all Marxist ideology. Yeah. It's not even light socialism. It's like, no.
Oh, it's not light at all, for sure.
No, and in any way, shape, or form. So she was very, she knew kind of both sides and went one day, that's just not right.
Yeah.
So
eventually,
good for her.
If you got a shred of common sense in your brain, eventually you're going to have to give in and go, I've questioned a lot of this stuff quietly. I finally just can't do it. But, most people don't have the guts to come out and say what she has said. She still has the blue hair now. Whether she's still married to her wife or not, I have no idea. But I mean, she is kind of like, come around to these people don't have our best interest at heart. Our way forward in America is not a Marxist, socialist, communist type attitude. It's just, it's not going to work. It will be our demise if that's the way we go.
We just can't afford it anymore, which, by the way, I saw a young lady that was complaining, my husband and I are now going to have to get jobs. We just can't live off the government anymore. I'm going, you're living off of my hard work and my taxes that I paid in. That's not what you're supposed to, but they think that it's the government's money. Mm-hmm. No, it's not. No. And I am so glad to hear you're hearing it way more than you have in the last 10, 12, 20 years. It's the taxpayers' money. Yeah. Finally, it's finally coming out that this is not, the government does not make money at all. Yeah. Period.
I think that's a Reaganism and that famous the money guy that we talk about all the time. But that's what they say, is that the government has never made $1. Milton Friedman, that's it. I can't think of his name. But the government has never made a dime. They have only taken in money. They either take it in. It used to be tariffs. That was how the government funded itself, was through tariffs. Now it's through income tax and. So,
instead of cutting back or making changes, it's spend more. We need more taxes so we can spend more. No. Enough. You've been spending way too much on some of the dumbest things out there. And anybody who says, well, what do you mean by getting rid of stuff like the Department of Education? Yeah, it's going back to the states. Yeah. Let the states run it, and it's their issue, because we went from number 1 in the world in education to 24 in the 40 years that it's been a government entity.
But it shouldn't have been a federal thing anyway. It's unconstitutional for that to be a federal department. It just is. It's the same as Roe v. Wade. We just don't have a place in the Constitution where that would fall under nicely. It just doesn't. It should go to the states. Everything else does. I think that's a very good call. I want to do one more thing before we go to break. Probably the most famous examples of people waking up to the nuttiness of the left was Joe Rogan. And here he is on that.
Obama was my favorite president. He's the best spokesman other than Clinton of all time. Now I think he's a liar. Yeah. I look at that thing of him saying, he said there's very fine people on both sides.
Who said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally.
That's not what he said.
It was so clear.
Like, you missed the game. The game is way past where you were. And you guys are still doing goofy shit, like taking people out of context and not knowing that people are going to make YouTube clips showing what he actually said versus you. And it's going to undermine your credibility even more.
Again, we talk about this all the time. If you've forgotten the internet exists, I mean, because we've got clips.
Well, and they keep saying, oh, you're getting misinformation from sources. No, you're not. If you're getting the actual words coming from the actual person and the entire clip, which a lot of the Republicans have started having people in their entourage, whatever you want to call them, are filming the interviews and stuff that these propaganda machines are taking and putting out on the air. That's all hacked up, and it's like, that's not what was said. Here it is. And their ratings are just going in the toilet. MSNBC, I just saw 2 different sources saying it looks like it's going to be up for sale. They lost over half of their viewers because they kept saying, oh, it's such a tight race. No, it wasn't. And they're still pushing that, oh, it wasn't a mandate. Hell, it wasn't. Sorry, but...
I thought I saw MSNBC as a line item at biglots.com. I think you can buy it there. It's actually on sale between now and Thanksgiving. So go.
I think it's on aisle 9 or something. If I remember right.
Yeah, I mean it's very cheap. So if you're ever in the market for something like that, it's a way to go. We are up against a break. When we come back, we will continue to talk about the fallout from the election and how people have reacted so badly, especially as one lady in Connecticut. You're not going to believe what she did. So hang in there. We will be right back.
It's all about common sense and fun. We'll be right back.
Are you distraught after the recent presidential election? Here at Don't Cry Cryo, we understand your pain, and we're here to help. Our expert team of cryogenic care providers can cryogenically freeze you until the Trump presidency has ended. No more crying, no more anxiety attacks, just blissful sleep until Trump is gone. When you awaken from your slumber, we'll even have a party ready and waiting for you. It will be like his presidency never even happened. It was all just a bad dream. As an added bonus, you can choose the Vance add-on package. We'll extend your sleep for an additional 4 years at a 50% discount in the event J.D. Vance wins the next presidential election. Everything will be okay. We're here to take care of you in your time of need. So remember, don't cry, cryo.
All right, welcome back to. I feel bad for the clock. Welcome back to Stay Off My.
Well, I forgot that. Yeah. I forgot again. Don't get off my. Okay, I understand.
It just processed.
You're going to give us something grateful to say? Oh, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Steve. Well, He's in a positive mood today,
sure
isn't he?
I don't expect a file from him about what he's thankful for, because he's obviously just. Maybe if we give him a bottle of rum like we did last year, maybe he'll. I don't know.
It didn't last to Christmas, but that's
rum
okay.
is too happy. I think he needs bourbon. So, oh my gosh.
Yo ho, are you mateys? He was doing that a lot.
He did. He had that patch and everything. It was. Just,
I know.
It was really kind of sad.
Odd. Anyway, we have some more clips.
We do have some more clips. Do you remember that Connecticut teacher that got so upset about the election? I don't even know what social media platform she did it on, but she posted a video of herself just ranting and raving because liberals cannot help themselves. They have to just kind of say things and then go back and apologize later. Where
she's trying to get her job back.
I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, maybe somebody in California will hire her.
She went a little too far. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Anyway, this video kind of went a little viral. It was towards Trump voters, and it did. It got her fired. And here's her version of being contrite, which is it didn't go so well.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, here we go.
Just because you won doesn't mean we don't remember who the blank you voted for. You're not in the clear. Please don't test your gangster on me, because you will end on a stretcher, gone forever. What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, so
it sounds like a threat.
It sounds very extreme. And again, I was in a moment of high emotions, and I shouldn't have ever posted the video. But the message I was trying to get across, and it came off very wrong, was, if this is going to give people the almost permission in their minds to enact violence against women or anybody, I wanted to basically just say, I'm not going to go down without a fight. I mean, it's my life's dream to be a teacher. I consider those kids my kids because I don't have any of my own. And they fill that for me. And it's so fulfilling. It's so rewarding. And I know that what people see right now, I don't look like that person, but I truly would do anything to help any child and any family in need.
I wonder if there was actually tears.
Oh, bravo!
Shed.
Standing ovation! Bravo! What a pile of
exactly.
crap. Anyway,
yeah, so why is it that she had zero self-control? Apparently, I mean, you had to set up the camera. This was planned. This. You can't tell me this was just off the cuff. You set up the camera.
No, because you got to turn stuff on. You got to hit record. You got to figure out what you want to say. And just now she was saying, we're not going to give up the fight. It's good. Okay, you are in a little bubble up there in the Northeast that it was mostly blue. One of those areas, mostly blue in the Northeast. Yeah. The rest of the country said, hell no.
Exactly. But I think that's where it comes down. It's like, why do you think that this is one thing that she said that kind of got me, is like, if you want to perpetuate violence against women, who is talking about being violent to women because of the election?
It's all this made up stuff, and the propaganda that was coming from CNN, MSNBC, it was the worst. Yeah. They're still pushing stuff like they didn't lose. It's like, okay, you guys got to get a grip because ain't nobody watching no more.
No.
It's just sad. But yeah, I don't understand all this. And no women's right. What rights did you lose? Exactly. Oh, you mean where you've got males that are playing in female sports and hurting females? Because I'm sorry, they are built differently when they become adult size. Right, just in case you didn't know, lady.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we have to open the pickle jar in the house. It's like, it's just the way that works. But I think that's where these lies are falling so flat with most of Americans that have common sense. Nobody's threatening women. Nobody's, I mean, the abortion rights thing is a settled thing. Nobody's going to ban abortions in America. Nobody's going to, as a matter of fact, there's been more abortions. We talked about this last week. There's been more abortions since Roe v. Wade went back to the states, or the abortion rights issue went back to the states and Roe v. Wade was overturned. There's been more abortions. So hooray for you. You got your way. I don't understand why they think we're trying to legislate, or why the Republicans or the conservatives are trying to legislate this. We're just trying to get it out of the federal government's hands, which most people on the Democrat side and the Republican side for years agreed that should happen more often. We need to take the power away from federal government.
Yeah, I don't want the government save me. I am a damsel in distress. I need help. No, get off my back. Leave me alone. People will volunteer to help fix stuff and will do things. Volunteers and the folks with from the mining operations and that did more to fix roads and do stuff in Western North Carolina and what was it, Tennessee?
Rednecks with
area.
chainsaws. Yep, that's right.
Yep, they got out the stuff and where it was just rubble and stuff. All of a sudden, in a matter of days, they had a road going through there.
Yep.
Days. Did the FEMA? Oh, it's because too many of them had Trump signs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we're going to get to that later, but and that's definitely
segue. I segued too soon.
I know, but it's great.
See, I'm not as good as you are.
You did have a good segue. Well, you don't know what's coming. We did have a good segue. You just said about the boys playing girl sports. Well, a congressman mentioned that about he didn't want his daughters playing sports with boys. And here's Bill Maher. Mahar.
Mahar?
Well, I mean, that's how it's spelled. I don't know. I'm Southern. I can't pronounce things. It's Bill Maher. He's talking about that story in particular. This is good.
Massachusetts Congressman Seth Moulton said, "I have 2 little girls. I don't want them getting run over on a playing field by a formerly male athlete. But as a Democrat, I'm supposed to be afraid to say that." Yes, there's the problem in a nutshell. Because Congressman Moulton sounds reasonable to me, but his campaign manager immediately resigned in protest. Let me make this as plain as I can to the smart people. The campaign manager who resigned, yeah, let that person go. Marginalize that guy. Try making too woke be a cancelable offense. It's important for America to have a center-left party, and for that party to be competitive. And a good first step toward that goal would be to make the voters not want to punch you in the face.
I do think that issue right there really does unite the right and the left, the traditional right and the left in this country, because that makes no sense, is letting boys who think that they're girls somehow participate in girls' sports. It just should never happen.
That's something that Kamala Harris was really pushing. And Joe said, "Oh, okay, I'll sign it. I'm really good at signing stuff. You got any more for me?" Anyway, it's if you think that's not important, you need to go out and see some of the clips where you've got one team of volleyball players has a male on it and the rest are females. This is happening in the Mountain West Conference in San Jose, and there's a lawsuit that's against the Mountain West Conference as well as San Jose State, and some other players have finally said no.
Yeah,
they've got like 5 schools have said no, we're not going to, and one school said, "Oh no, we'll play them," and the girls went, "No, we're not."
Yeah. And
you didn't ask us, and we're not doing it.
That's what needs to happen. The girls need to stand up. If you're a girl athlete,
and that's what they're doing.
Stand up, because that video went viral when that former boy supposedly spiked the ball and hit that girl in the head, and she got a concussion from playing volleyball. I mean, that doesn't normally happen. Come on now.
I mean, you do get hit occasionally, but not with the force that a male. I was seeing something where the women spiking was something around 60, 65 miles per hour. Yeah. The male hit it. It was like 110.
Right.
It was almost double. It's like, that's not what they're used to playing against. So no, that's just flat wrong. I'm sorry. I don't care. Put on a dress if you want. I could give a rip. No, you start doing women's sports. That's enough of that.
Well, even
America has said no.
Yeah. Even the Williams sisters, the tennis greats that are out there, they're fantastic and they're at the top of their game. They dominate the women in the tennis courts. But they were interviewing one of them. I forgot whether it was
Serena. It was
Serena. That's who it was.
How my voice is going. It was Serena. Yeah, and she said, she goes, I'm not playing against them. Do you know how fast they hit that serve?
Yeah. And for her to say that means a lot because she hits that ball hard.
She does. She don't hit it that hard.
That's right. She said it would go, if she played Andy Murray, as I think is exactly the example she used, it would be 6-0, 6-0, maybe 6-1, but it would be over in 10, 15 minutes. It'd be over.
Yeah.
And you know, God bless her for being honest. I think that's,
I was shocked that she said that, but it's like, and this guy was only ranked like what, 110th or something in the world.
Yeah.
He was way down the rankings, and she still said,
nope, not going to happen.
Not doing it.
But it's like that in any sport, especially boxing. Oh my gosh, they're trying to pull that crap too. So anyway.
Yeah, the MMA world is bad because that one guy that's a girl that's in there just is pummeling the women.
Yeah, it should never be allowed. Just should never be allowed. I certainly wouldn't want my granddaughters participating in any sport. I don't care if unless it's golf or pool or something, that'd be fine. But I mean, if you're doing swimming or tennis or anything like that, no, it's not. It shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen.
No.
Well, even the White House press corps is having some questions. Like 2 weeks ago, Orange Man was Hitler and a threat to our very well-being. We had that clip from Charlemagne the God last week. And of course, people's rights are going to be stripped away when he gets into office, yada, 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 all that stuff. Well, here's White House correspondent asking about asking the Biden senior DEI hire. I had to write that down because that was just too good.
God, I was wondering if you were going to get that all out right. Maybe you need to rewrite that.
You know, it's too late now. It's out there because we don't edit. So there you go.
Nope, we're too lazy for that. Sorry, you get it the way it came out, folks.
Anyway, Corinne Jean-Pierre got the question, and lots of hemming and hawing going on. So this goes on a little bit, but it's a great question.
This administration message to millions of Americans that they're going to wake up the day after the election if Trump won and have their rights stripped away, that democracy would crumble, and the president said today we're going to be okay. So how do you square that?
I can't square that. I'm going to square that in a way that hopefully makes sense, because I've been answering this question multiple times. The American people made the decision. There was an election 2 nights ago. There was. And it was a free and fair election. And we respect the election process. We do.
Yeah, right.
And Americans spoke. And so the job of the president is to make sure we respect that. The job of the president is to make sure that we have a peaceful transfer of power. That is what the American people deserve. And that's what we're going to, it's not complicated. It's truly, truly as simple as that. As simple as that. The president called the president-elect, invited him to the White House. You know why? Because that's customary. That is customary. That is what you do. If you respect what the American people decided, that's what you do. And that's what the president's going to make sure that the Trump transition has what it needs, which is being led, obviously, by our chief of staff here. Why? Because the president wants to lead by example. It's not complicated. It really isn't. And you know, that's important.
Is the message to people who are fearful based on what the messaging was about the state?
Well, now you're just twisting everything around, and that's really unfair. No, it is. No, Jackie, it's unfair because I've been standing here trying to be very respectful to what happened the last 2 nights ago. Being respectful. I've been standing here saying that we respect the decision that the American people made. I've been standing here and saying that the president's going to put the American people first. I've been standing here talking about how the president's going to make sure that they get what they deserve, which is a peaceful transfer of power. I do not appreciate having my words twisted. That is, I am being very clear, very, very, very clear about what the president wants to do and the vice president. We want to make sure that we deliver for the American people. They deserve a peaceful transfer of power, and that's what you're going to see.
Somebody has taken word salad 101 from Kamala is all I can figure with that because
wait a minute. Well, you know, she ought to know when she hears twisted words because that's a pot calling the kettle black. Exactly. If you ask me, the old saying goes, you've twisted stuff around and it's like, what?
So twisting around is just, all she did was just kind of repeat back what they've been saying, that he's a threat to our democracy and all these other things that you know, the day after the election, the women are going to have their rights stripped away. And it's like, you know, how do you square that? And of course, she's like, well, you don't have to twist my words. It's exactly what you said. That's not twisting words. You don't understand what you're talking about. They can't even hear themselves.
She was twisting words that said, don't twist my words. She wasn't.
She wasn't. She's just regurgitating it. That's all. Oh my gosh.
Turn your word salad round and round. Go to the corner and bring him down. I don't know what the hell that was all about.
Oh, I don't know either.
Wrong file drawer open. Sorry.
But there was a lot of hemming and hawing there, and it was, she kept saying the same thing over again. You could tell that she was just, if you saw the video. Anyway, I did go to that journalist is named Jackie Heinrich. She got promoted. I don't know if it was after this.
I hadn't heard that part.
She's a senior journalist now at the White House Press Corps. So congratulations to you. You actually asked some good questions, and we are appreciative of anybody in the press corps that doesn't keep doing it with Trump. I think it's always a good thing. We need to keep our elected officials in check. We are up against a break. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
When we come back, we're going to talk about a congressman in Florida, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She's got some concerns about Tulsi Gabbard again. Oh, gosh, whatever. So hang in there. We will be right back.
Stay tuned for more of the stay off my lawn, but you know the thing. Anyway, they'll be right back.
Put a frog in boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in cool water and slowly heat it up, that frog will boil. As veterans, we tell ourselves the lie that we can handle anything. We let the water boil. You are not a frog. If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach. Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to Stay Off My Lawn, segment 3. We just passed halftime. Here we go.
We are zipping this morning.
Yeah, zipping. The lefty journalists. The lefty journalists are continuing the barrage of lies, even post-election here, and especially the ones that are in the dark red states like Florida. Oh, my goodness. Congressman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. We haven't heard from her in a while. She normally spews out some really crazy stuff once in a while. It's always...
And is still doing so.
Still doing it. She's still in the same playbook. This one is about Tulsi Gabbard. Oh, my gosh. Here we go.
Tulsi Gabbard is someone who has met with war criminals, violated the Department of State's guidance, and secretly, clandestinely went to Syria and met with Assad, who gassed and attacked his own people with chemical weapons. She's considered to be essentially, by most assessments, a Russian asset, and would be the most.
Is that how you
dangerous...
consider her? Is that what you consider her?
Oh, yes. There's no question.
Oh, boy. Tell us what you really think, Congress lady.
And you know what we consider you?
Yeah, we
Marxist on the left.
We consider
Zig Heil, lady. Jeez.
We consider everything coming out of your mouth as pablum. Remember the old Robert Downey Jr.?
Oh, there you go, yeah.
That was pablum. If you don't know who Robert Downey Jr. is, he's dead.
It's good with milk. Matter. A little sugar and it goes right down.
That's right. Kids love it. But, Tulsi Gabbard couldn't be more of a patriot. I don't understand
Was she 20 years in the service? She did her it was between National Guard and was deployed several times.
Deployed,
yeah, she's a Russian spy.
Lieutenant colonel in the Army. Yeah, she's certainly a patriot. I don't even know if she's given up being in the Army. Yeah, she should, because she's going to be over the department that actually put her on the blacklist where she wasn't allowed to fly anymore. So
which I think, boy, is that justice. I love it.
I love it too. And the whole, all these cabinet choices are really putting a knot in their knickers. I think it's wonderful. It's just wonderful. I love seeing people squirm because everything's uncomfortable in the crotchal area.
But they're so frustrated when they eat, they're rubbing the flower pattern off their plates.
Flowery. So sorry.
Don't know where that the brain is working overtime. Too much coffee today. That's just not noticeable at all, is it? I don't think so. I haven't had too much. Maybe a cup or two. Maybe it'll be fine.
My coffee's cheap Kroger stuff too, and it's just woohoo. So anyway, remember the story about the FEMA people skipping over the houses that were affected by Hurricane Helene because they had Trump signs in their yard? Oh gosh, that's just wonderful. I love the federal government involving themselves.
The best thing is she's going on trying to defend what she did, and she's basically saying that's why she did it. You're not helping yourself here. And if I remember right, she no longer has her position anymore either.
She was done fired. But she actually went on Fox News defending herself. I got to say, she did a great job.
No, she did.
Here's her defense of her position on skipping over the Trump houses.
And someone feels uncomfortable, we can't go to that home. If you have loose dogs and someone on the team is comfortable with dogs and another person is not, we can't go to that home because of safety precautions.
So you feared the Trump houses. The people on FEMA were fearing the Trump houses like they were fearing people with vicious dogs in their backyard.
Exactly. And that's based on the trends.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not defending yourself. That's just stepping right back in it. You got. You're going to compare them to, I love America. What the hell?
It's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, you can see the look, if you saw the video, you'll see the look on Trace Gallagher's face going, do what? Did you just admit to this? Exactly.
You're here to defend yourself, not re-incriminate, right? Because you're not doing that.
I heard there's an opening in Connecticut for a teacher if you want to go up there. And, goodness gracious.
Both of them. I'm going to go and talk to the news media and give them my point of view, which was the original point of view. And you're not helping yourself at all here, people.
I appreciate her candor, though. I mean, she's stuck to her guns. Oh, my gosh. But it's like, what flavor was that Kool-Aid you drank? Because you have obviously consumed a lot of it. How in the world do you think that way? I wouldn't.
Did you say DEI higher?
Yeah, that's exactly. Again, you don't have to be qualified. You just have to check some boxes. Oh, my gosh.
Here's another cup. Yep. Okay, you can be in charge now.
Well, globally, things are changing already. 62 days before the inauguration as of today. Here's Sarah Gonzalez explaining exactly what's happening.
Has there ever been such a dramatic global shift before a president even takes office after he's been elected? So all the illegal immigrants that were starting their caravan through Mexico was like, nope, sorry, gotta go. The tough guy's back, so you gotta go. That's dissolved. Migrant caravan at the border, gone. Eric Adams ended vouchers for illegals. Sorry, you can't stay there. Just after a phone call with Donald Trump. They didn't say what they talked about. I think you can see what they talked about. How about globally? Hamas, within 48 hours, they were like, we probably need a ceasefire with Israel. We don't want the heat that Donald Trump is packing. Qatar kicked out Hamas leaders. All right. Putin, he's like, okay, well, we should probably talk about how to strengthen our relations with the United States and what the end of the Ukraine war looks like. He's ready to sell oil in US dollars. The European Union was like, we will buy United States gas. We won't have to buy Russian gas anymore. Like, this is crazy, you guys. I am not tired of the winning. China, they want to strengthen their relations with us all of a sudden. I am not tired of the freaking winning.
It just keeps reminding me of 1980 or 81 when Reagan took office on January 20th. The hostages in Iran got immediately released. Immediately.
It's like, because he told them this is what's going to happen, and that's what's going to be. And Trump has told them this is what's going to happen, and he's kept his word on stuff. And they went, he ain't messing around.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I've got several things on that that I've read. This is another theory, if you will, because remember, I've been talking about when they stop giving these people all these vouchers and all this money and all this food and stuff, and they just cut them off. what are they going to do? They're going to get cranky about it, and they're going to be in the streets, and there's going to be unrest in the streets. And someone was talking about that the other day, that when this happens, it's going to be mass chaos in these big cities. You know, it's going to be more of the peaceful protesting, like they did in Minnesota there, where, things going up there are going really good there, eh?
Oh, yeah, we got to set things on fire because it's so cold. And,
yeah. Yeah. So they're talking, this was a plan type thing where, okay, now here you go. All these people, we're not giving them anymore. Well, for one, it was bankrupting the city. And so as soon as Eric Adams went against the machine, they got indicted. Somebody else went against the machine. Who was it? I forgot. Got indicted.
Oh, wow. I did see that video. That's right. You sent me a video. There was a few people.
Yeah, there was a few big folks in the Democratic Party who were questioning and going against what their will should be. And all of a sudden, this one's indicted, that one's indicted. Why would that be? They were fine right up until they went, yeah, we're not going to do that. Oh, yes, you are. The other thing is, you're talking about the Russian stuff. They're willing to talk. What are they doing? They're giving permission to Ukraine to fire missiles further inland into Russia. That's not going to make them very happy. No. That just was done like 2 days ago.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I've been spending too much time.
But Trump says he can fix that, and he knows both of them. So, I mean, maybe he does have some kind of plan to kind of sit them down and go, look, we need to make some concessions. You need to just stop killing people. Poor Ukrainians, they're running out of young people, and Russia obviously is not. They got much more population, but I mean, eventually something's got to give. I mean,
the Russians are not happy with the North Korean army. The North Korean army got up there and went, whoa, somebody's shooting back at us. They backed off.
We're not used to that.
And Russia was not happy with this elite soldiers that are BS. Kind of like the Republican Guard or something, whatever it was called in Iraq, where as soon as Americans started piling on them, they went, oh, crap, no, just wiping them out. And they went, we're not used to people shooting back at us.
These are actual rounds whizzing by my head. No, I'm not. Well, in North Korea, when was the last time they fought anybody? I mean, it's the 40s,
they march in a good parade.
Yeah, that's about it. It's like, I can kick my feet
Russia
up.
Was not happy with their help because it really wasn't much help. Let's just say that.
It's really funny how Eric Adams changed his tune very, very quickly. As soon as he got indicted, he kind of like, he had this little kinship with Trump, understanding that, you kicked the bee's nest and now things are happening. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, no more vouchers. We got 10,000 people a month coming in. We can't do it anymore, and we're not going to do it anymore. So do something else. I'm glad Sarah kind of put all those in a bullet form type things, bullet point form that we can kind of listen to and see. Hamas is changing their tune. Everybody's changing their tune. The adults are in charge now. Or they're going to be.
And they know that when Trump has said, this is what's going to happen, and I'm going to be, if you do this, then this is going to take place. And they've all seen it happen and went, oh yeah, him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Trump cabinet picks are still getting everybody's knickers in a knot, especially this clip here has 2 CNN journos and the former CDC director. They're clearly upset about RFK's pick. They hate that RFK is going to be HHS secretary, which...
What are his qualifications? I don't know. Put him up against the current, and they don't look the same.
No. They were saying he doesn't have any managerial experience. It's like, do what? Anyway, here's that clip.
Well, it's not often that the entire medical and public health community is going to be in lockstep on something, but they're pretty close on this in terms of their significant concerns, horror even. Somebody said to me today, I can't think of any single individual who'd be more damaging to public health than RFK. That comprises the CDC. We just got through this pandemic, comprises the FDA, comprises the NIH.
I don't know what you want me to say. I am just at a loss because we're watching something happen in slow motion that is terrifying. You know, the reason we have a great country is because there are pillars in place. There are columns and structures, just like in your house, columns and pillars that you don't see, but they keep things in a good place. They keep things in a good direction. We have healthy children because there are people who've made sure that there are things in place for that.
The idea that receiving vaccines would be parental choice scares me.
Parental choice. We shouldn't have that.
You will not do what we don't want. You will have that kid shot with a needle or whatever. Yeah. It's like, no, that's what they're saying. We know best. Yeah. You don't. We do. No, sorry, not your kid. Not going to happen.
You couldn't know anything. Come on now. It's just it's just your kids. You shouldn't have any say on whether they get vaccinated or not. You know, and that's the big thing they have about RFK, because he questions vaccines. Well, there's nothing wrong with questioning anything that the government requires of you. We should have the First Amendment squarely in our corner to go, I don't know. I don't like it. You need to prove to me that all these things, and I'm sure you heard this too, where RFK was talking the other day. He says, when I was a kid, there were 3 vaccines, and autism. Now, this could, I'm not saying there's correlation, causation, anything like this. And he's not saying that either. He just says, we need to look into this. But autism was 1 in 10,000.
Yeah, the wife and I were talking about that the other day, and I'm going, I don't remember being around or hearing about, I got a little brother or none of that. We don't remember all the peanut allergies. They didn't exist when we were in school.
Did not exist.
Yeah, we're older, but
egg allergies.
It's like none of this stuff was there. Now it's like, good Lord, you can't drink milk. You can't eat peanuts. You can't. Holy crapper noodles.
Any of that stuff. Yeah, but I think that and nowadays with 17, I think you said 17 vaccines that the average kid gets. And now
it's more than that. It's upwards of put close to, by the time they're, I forget, like 5 years old or something, they will have had almost 70.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I had that number wrong.
It's way stupid an amount. I may have it wrong, but that was my recollection of the numbers in that ballpark.
But now,
dumb.
But now autism is 1 in 34, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
So I mean, and maybe the criteria for diagnosis of that has changed. I don't know. We had quirky kids when I was growing up. They probably would be categorized as autistic. I would probably be categorized as autistic. I mean, who knows? But I mean,
categorized as ADHD.
That too.
And I don't care. I've made it through life. I do just fine. Yeah. If you haven't noticed, folks, I kind of bounce around off the walls once in a while.
Every once in a while. It's not a big deal. So anyway, it's pretty interesting stuff. We are up against another break. We do have our last segment. We're going to cram a lot of crap in there. And I mean, not crap. It's really, really good stuff. I don't mean crap.
Way to promote the show. Good job, buddy. They can't wait to come back and join us.
Some of it's crap. You got to admit, some of it's crap. Anyway, so hang in there. We will be right back.
This is the Stay Off My Lawn show and podcast. The grumpy old men you know and love. We'll be right back.
You know, the best days begin with an early start and a good cup of coffee. The Crockett Coffee community is made up of doers and leaders, self-reliant people with a pioneering spirit who are ready to fuel up and do what needs to be done. As a new coffee company, they scoured the world for the finest ethically sourced beans, then linked up with a passionate family of coffee roasters from the heart of Crockett country. Together, they developed 3 simple, iconic blends: medium roast, dark roast, and decaf. Oh, and there's a light roast coming soon. All blends are available in K-Cups, ground, and my favorite, whole bean. So head over to crockettcoffee.com and support a company that loves America like you do and makes the best coffee you've ever had, all delivered straight to your front door. That's crockettcoffee.com. Well, I just went and burned one. Welcome back to Stay Off My Lawn.
The last segment's going to take forever, man.
Not that way, dude. I mean, it was just a regular Rice Krispie treat, I promise. Oh, my gosh. Welcome back to Stay Off My Lawn. Segment 4, we're almost done, and we can feel the excitement in our veins. Either that or it's caffeine. Could just be caffeine. the media, especially Whoopi Goldberg, is not happy about Pete Hegseth being Secretary of Defense. So much so, they, just like normal, they don't let the truth get in the way. Here's a clip of what Whoopi had to say about that.
That's not true. So is this the guy who's qualified to make decisions about the most powerful military in the world, who clearly does not know anything about the military?
Doesn't know anything about the military.
Well, let us tell you what he knows about the military. You've got the list. Share it with us, please.
A quick glance at Pete Hegseth. After graduating from Princeton in 2003, he joined Bear Stearns as an equity capital markets analyst and was also commissioned as an infantry officer in the Minnesota National Guard. In 2004, his unit was called to Guantanamo Bay Naval Base down in Cuba under the operational control of the 3rd Battalion, 187th Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division, where he served as an infantry platoon leader and was awarded the Army Commendation Medal. Shortly after returning from Cuba, Hegseth volunteered to serve in Baghdad and Samarra, Iraq, where he served first as an infantry platoon leader and later as a civil military operations officer. During his time in Iraq, he was awarded the Bronze Star Medal, Combat Infantry Badge, and a Second Army Commendation Medal. Hegseth returned to active duty in 2012 as a captain. He deployed to Afghanistan with the Minnesota Army National Guard and acted as a senior counterinsurgency instructor at the Counterinsurgency Training Center in Kabul. In 2014, Hegseth was promoted to the rank of major and left active duty to be assigned to the Army Individual Ready Reserve. I am not familiar with that, but it's he's still in. I think he just now gave up his place in the Army National Guard.
Retired from it,
yeah,
I believe. He
recently.
also, by the way, not only went to Princeton, but also Harvard.
Oh, he went to Harvard too. I did not know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, he nothing else better to do with his feeble little brain that he has, but go to Princeton and Harvard. So
he doesn't know anything about the military, according to
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg, but he's been in 20 years. He's been deployed several times. It's like
he doesn't know what she's done. They don't research anything.
No.
They're going, we've never heard of the guy, so that must mean he doesn't know anything.
And we saw
That's essentially what they go on.
Yeah, exactly. We saw a clip earlier off the air of her trying to say his last name. Apparently, they don't go over what they're going to talk about on the air at all. At least Richard and I will go through and go, well, how do we say that name? And go through and try to find out. But we
have a pre-production meeting for those of you who are interested.
Yes, lots of coffee flows, and
if that's what we want to call it.
But she couldn't even say Hegseth. She had no idea. She wouldn't even. She spent 15 seconds on the air trying to get that word out of her mouth. But anyway, so he's got plenty of military experience. You don't know what you're talking about. Apparently, there's no pre-production meeting at The View. So anyway,
and he's let's just say a lot more intelligent. Learning lines for a movie is not in any way, shape, or form the same thing as going to Princeton and Harvard. Just saying.
I don't. There's a lot of people out there that claim to be intelligent, but I don't understand where they get that from. Somebody along the line has told them that they're intelligent, but nobody of any intelligence, apparently.
They've been lied to somewhere along.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my mother always said, you got to stop being stupid. And even through my adult life, I've told myself, I got to stop being stupid. So, I mean, I don't understand how these people don't go through life and actually have these thoughts in their head. It's like, you got to stop being so smart. You're going to make people uncomfortable. I just don't, I don't understand. So
we have more Whoopi.
We do here in a second.
We're on that Whoopi hit parade list.
I got one more from Candace Owens. Before we get back to Whoopi, we got another Whoopi clip. Matt Gaetz being nominated as Attorney General.
No, not that kind of anyway.
Yeah.
Whoopi cushion. That's opposed to a Whoopi clip. My bad.
Oh yes, because apparently she does fart a lot, and I think that's where the whole Whoopi thing comes from. Matt Gaetz being nominated as Attorney General. Well, no, seriously, I heard that she was in a movie and she's a big farter. So anyway, him being nominated as Attorney General has them clutching their pearls as well. They may not have heard the backstory as to why, or I haven't heard the backstory as to why they're so upset about all this, but Candace Owen explains exactly why that is.
They tried to paint Matt Gaetz like a complete crazy person. You can imagine, remember, the adults are back in charge, right? That this was getting all of the coverage. This Trump ally, he's out here, he's doing this with a 17-year-old girl, and he fought through this. And it sounded like a conspiracy, right? To say that the Department of Justice is using former employees and liaising to try to siphon $25 million from your dad. But Matt Gaetz alleged that the local FBI instructed his dad to wear a wire to record the conversation with the person that was trying to extort them. And guess what? It turned out that Matt Gaetz was telling the truth. In August of 2022, Stephen Alford was sentenced to 5 years in prison for a scheme to extort $25 million from the Gaetz family. So you can just imagine the Department of Justice's surprise. Oh my gosh, you're going to nominate now? He's in charge of the Department of Justice? You're going to make him the U.S. Attorney General? I love it, okay? He absolutely must be confirmed. And they're freaking out, and they're being honest about why they're freaking out. They're like, well, then he's going to have access to the files of when we were investigating him. And like, by the way, we didn't find anything, so it's not a big deal, but we don't want to, this is an insane pick. Why on earth would they allow him in? Yeah. Because you realize that he is someone who you are not going to be able to flip into one of your allies because you attempted to ruin his life and to ruin his reputation. And these are exactly the kinds of picks that we mean.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And they're doing the same thing to the gentleman we were just talking about as well, trying to smear him.
Oh, yeah. Pete Hegseth. Yeah.
Hegseth, yeah.
I like I said, I didn't know about this. I knew there was something about a girl, but apparently that was propaganda to try to make him look terrible. Nothing surprises me anymore, unfortunately. So
he said, there's the truth, and it's, they can try what they want, and it went away. And now the lefties are trying to bring it back again and smear him with it. The same thing that it's already been settled and found out that it was actual faults and it was someone trying to extort, but that's not how they're presenting it.
Right, exactly. Anyway, the big talking heads, like we just talked about, Whoopi Goldberg, she's trying to relate to the average person, which, okay, here she is on another tirade.
I appreciate that people are having a hard time. Me too. Yeah. I work for a living. If I had all the money in the world, I would not be here, okay? So I'm a working person.
I'm a working person. She is a working person. She does work at The View. I'm sure that there's a lot of sweat and everything that goes into that. It's just like digging ditches. It's exactly the same thing. The average household income in the U.S. is $80,000 a year, which seems like a lot to me, but I think that's really gone up in the last 4 years.
Way above my pay grade right now, being retired and on fixed income. I didn't plan for this huge inflation that these guys dumped on us.
None of us did, for sure. Currently, Whoopi is worth $60 million, and her contract with The View pays her $8 million a year. Now, break that down, that's about $153,000 a week. I don't know. I don't know how you can afford cable with that. That seems...
I just don't. How is she going to pay that poor gentleman who has to drive her there every day? She works and that she has somebody else come and brings her to the studio. Yeah. She doesn't know anything about a regular working person. Give me a break.
Not at all. I don't. She throws it. Well, it's the low IQ people that listen to the show. It's like they're going to buy into this. That she's struggling to buy bread just like the rest of us and eggs because they've gone up so much. It's like $153,000 a week. I think you might be able to afford whatever you want at that rate. Which, this is America. I don't begrudge her making the kind of money she's making.
Nope. That you came into that. You're making it. Good for you.
You've negotiated that contract, so that's wonderful. You do your thing, but just don't try to compare yourself to the average working person. Just not going to work.
Yeah, I'm sorry. For those of us that you worked on a heister and stuff, I was a industrial laundry routeman, in and out of a truck all day. that's working your tail off, and do that for 12 hours. And let me tell you how you're 150,000 sitting in a chair lamenting about crap that you don't know anything about. How do you make that? Well, you got into it. Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what America's all about. She's made herself a success, whether we, agree with the whole situation or not, and the way her brain works, doesn't matter. Anyway, we need a palate cleanser.
Oh, Lord, yes, please.
This one is another Paul Harvey. Rest of the story, I am still on a Paul Harvey kick, so that's just the way it's going to be.
Well, me too, because I keep finding lots more of them and sending them to you.
This is about a pair of brother-in-laws that you'll definitely know who they are by the end of the story. So here we go.
The rest of the story. William and James were brothers-in-law. William was married to Olivia Norris within months of James's marriage to Olivia's sister Elizabeth Ann. It was only after William and James became brothers-in-law that the two realized neither of them should have been here in the first place. That is, they'd come to live in Cincinnati not by design, but because of an unanticipated, remarkably similar occurrence. It was a warm summer evening that the two young men, relaxing after supper on their father-in-law's front porch, related to each other the rest of the story. James had come to America first. Hard times drove his parents from Ireland in 1819. They brought their teenage son with them, intending to settle in Illinois. They boarded a flatboat on the Ohio River. During the trip, 16-year-old James became violently, mysteriously ill, so ill that his folks took him off the boat at Cincinnati and went searching for a doctor. The doctor they found prescribed complete rest and quiet. The trip to Illinois must be postponed. And yet, by the time James recuperated, his mother and father had grown to like Cincinnati enough to make it their new home. So James grew up to make and sell soap. William, on the other hand, was a grown man when he came to the United States, but the hard times that drove him from his native London were personal ones. He had saved all of his young life to open a woolen goods shop of his own. He was in business only one day, for in the middle of the following night, thieves stole everything on the premises. Suddenly, deep in debt, William convinced his creditors that the only way he could pay them back would be to take advantage of the abundant opportunities of the New World. And shortly thereafter, he and his first wife, Martha, left England, came to America. And then they boarded a flatboat on the Ohio River. Their intended destination was Kentucky. But when Martha was stricken with cholera during the trip, William bundled her in his arms and got off the boat at Cincinnati. There was nothing the doctors could do. After lingering a few miserable days, Martha died. William, grieving and alone, lost all of his ambition. He would remain in Cincinnati, take whatever work came his way. He settled for selling candles from a rented shop downtown. Even after the lovely Olivia Norris, whom he met at church, restored his interest in life, William continued making and selling candles. Well, now, William's and James's father-in-law, Alexander Norris, had begun eavesdropping on this front porch conversation. Finally, he decided to butt in. "You, William, you make candles," the old man observed. "You, James, you make soap. You both purchase and use the same raw ingredients. Why don't you two become partners?" And they did. They became partners who were to succeed as have few in the history of American enterprise. Their alliance was a destiny, admirers called it, without ever knowing what you now know. That once upon a river called the Ohio, two flatboat voyagers never got to where they were going. They made emergency stops in Cincinnati instead and stayed. And thus did the Cincinnati detour become an unexpected and profitable destination for two young men merged by marriage and by a mutual need for tallow. William Proctor and James Gamble. Proctor and Gamble. And now you know the rest of the story.
I had no idea. It was a surprise to me at the end. So
it's one of those where, okay, you got a guy that's selling soap and somebody that's got the raw. I'll be darned. You never know how things get started. That's what America is about.
That's right.
And some of that's been lost due to regulations and just putting their finger down on everything so that these big companies go, you need to regulate that because they're going to be a competition to us and we don't want that.
I think starting in January, a lot of these regulations are going to go bye-bye. So it will free American industry to do better like we used to. So now for next week is Thanksgiving. So we're going to have a special. Last year, we talked about this at the top of the show. We started a tradition last year to have people either call us at 770-727-6443 and leave us a voicemail of what you're thankful for. We think that's good for your soul. It's good for everybody else to hear. It's inspirational. I think it's great to be able to step back and look at the positive in your life as opposed to kind of getting bogged down in everyday life and maybe just, you got negatives. You just need to be thankful.
We're going to try to have a positive show that's a little bit funny, but please send us what you're grateful for. Yeah. That was something I had my girls do every year at Thanksgiving as it went around the table. What are you grateful for? And sometimes it would be very poignant and other times it was goofy stuff. And it didn't matter. Yeah. Whatever it is, I don't care. You got a new Beanie Baby and you're grateful to have that. Yeah. I don't know.
We did that a couple of years. I remember a lot of times Chris is just so hungry. He's like, you just say, all right, I'm happy my shirt fits and just, whatever. But it's kind of good for practice though. It's good for your soul. Yeah. And you can send us a Facebook message too. If you go to facebook.com/stayoffmylawnpodcast, you'll be able to send us a clip through Facebook Messenger. So, So anyway, that'll be fun next week. And plus we'll have some fun in there as well, like we did last year. So, but for this week, we hope you had fun and were somewhat informed. And like we got informed, we heard a lot of things we didn't know this week. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Smart Speaker, or wherever you get your podcasts. Not YouTube.
And you'll find us every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on the OracleTalkRadioNetwork.com. Get the apps for both Apple and Ampeloid. Apple.
Glad it's not just me. That's all I can say.
Are now available. Log into the .com and scroll down. You'll see the player button and just enjoy us on your drive home.
That's right. So enjoy your family next week. Even if they don't agree with you politically, don't even bring it up. If you want to save money on Christmas, bring it up and tell them they're wrong. And you'll have a good time. So we will see you week after next, folks.
That's right. Thanks so much for listening. We appreciate all of you. Please tell a friend. Thanks for being here. Toodles. Well, we had fun and hope you did too. The opinions heard here today are not those of anyone other than Mike and Richard. If it made you laugh or go, or even, then we've done our job. Sort of. Well, mostly anyway. And if we made you think about things in a common sense manner, we welcome you to the club. And if it didn't, then just stay off my lawn. See you next time.